Hey, what's up, Seattle Kraken fans? Welcome to Morning Cup of Kraken. Mike here, Sasquatch NHL special edition today, honoring our veterans. Reached out on Twitter, and I got a pretty big response from everybody, so that's pretty cool. Very honored to be able to kind of share some of your stories and pictures this morning. Also have a great guest along with me. Going to bring him in right now, my buddy from Vancouver, Washington, and our resident veteran here on the stream today, Ty Jacobs at Sea Kraken Dude. What's up, Ty? How you doing?
Good morning, and Joshua, good afternoon as well.
Yeah, that's right.
How about yourself? Got that flight from Alaska in last night?
Yeah, I was, the weather was interesting, so sometimes takeoffs and landings there can be a little bit interesting. So, but yeah, I'm here. Had a little trouble getting moving this morning, and I was like trying to get all the pictures and stories and everything in here, but I think we're ready to roll. So yeah, we'll do a little roll call here. Looks like we already got Mr. Brian Kinnecott logging in, saying happy Veterans Day. Ty Jacobs, of course, along for the ride. Joshua from the East Coast saying good afternoon. Glad to have you guys along. Again, a little bit of a different stream today. I kind of just wanted to focus on veterans because it's Veterans Day. We will talk Kraken here towards the end of the stream, talk about the matchup a little bit. Of course, we're on a 5-game heater right now. Hopefully, we're going to be able to stretch that to 6. I mean, this is craziness, right, Ty?
Yeah, it kind of has my mind blown. It's some quality wins against some quality opponents as well. I don't want to jinx stuff tonight.
I know, we were joking behind the scenes that maybe they should have saved a few of the goals they scored the other night for tonight, because Ty and I are going. We're going to sit together, so hopefully they keep it rolling. But great to have you guys along. As always, grab your coffee, grab your tea, your frappuccino. Jim, if you're listening out there, your double French press or your pumpkin spice lattes. I guess it is the season for that. But Ty, like I was saying, you are, what do you got? What are you drinking there?
So I'm getting ready to hit the ice after this. So I have all the hydration going on right now.
Nice.
So that's a body armor that's cut about 50% with water.
Okay, so you're getting hydrated, you're getting ready to... You're playing... Are you in a forward, right?
Yeah, yep. Typically play center or right wing.
Okay.
Right now, I'm just old guy that kind of hangs out at the blue line and skates a couple. And yeah, it's just getting my legs back under me. It's been like 16 years since I've been on the ice, so
wow,
definitely feels like it.
You gotta get back into game shape. Maybe you should do a few sim games on the bicycle or something like that, right?
Yeah.
We got Striatic here.
Do, that's for sure.
Oh, sorry. Just a little more roll call here. We got Striatic saying salute to veterans and let's go Kraken. Great to have you on the stream, Striatic. We also have Jaretta Smith saying good morning, happy Veterans Day. And as you notice, Ty's got his veterans jersey there and the sweatshirt. I remember those were in the shop last year for that game. Those were pretty popular. A lot of people loved those. I wasn't able to get one myself, but I had a lot of friends that were into those. Did you get that one customized, Ty, or is it just blank?
Yes. So I always notice in post games, Gruby's rocking. I don't know if you can see that that's 31, but I got Gruby on it. He's always rocking the Veterans Day hat in post games and stuff like that, or practice. So I was like, makes sense.
Yeah.
And he'll be around a while, so it was a safe bet.
That hoodie's pretty sharp too. I like that one. I should have gotten that one, but I didn't. I'm kind of regretting it. But
I've
cool
worn the heck out of this thing, and everything's all crackled up and stuff. So maybe I'll grab a new one tonight.
Yeah, I would imagine they've got some new swag there tonight. It's going to be pretty cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. Had a lot of hard work here over the last week and kind of settling back home here. Kicking off the live stream, Veterans Day. Ty's here along for the ride. We're going to go through your stories and pictures that you guys sent, whether you're here live or in the replay. It doesn't matter to me. Glad to have you guys along. As always, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button if you haven't already during the stream. And I am going to have this out on the podcast afterwards. So Ty, use your words. Be very descriptive.
Will do.
Right.
I'm a fairly animated person, though, so the video does probably,
That's true. So if you want to get
better,
if you're just listening on the podcast and you want the full Ty Jacobs experience, you got to come watch over on YouTube and, vice versa. Appreciate the support no matter where you're listening or watching from. But today, again, is all about the veterans. Never mind my channel and subscriptions. That doesn't matter. Today we're talking about the vets. And first one, obviously, Mr. Jacobs here. I would like to show this picture that you sent to me. So we're going to switch over here to the slideshow. But this one right here, this is Baby Ty. Ty, can you tell us a little bit about the picture, maybe some of your moments and memories from service, and where were you when this was taken?
Yeah, so that's 19 years old. I'm actually in Iraq in that photo. I think we're out by Haditha Dam, providing security for some combat engineers that are doing some building and kind of reconstructing some things out there. But my whole thing going through from start to finish, and then now on today, is PMA, or positive mental attitude. And I think this photo kind of exemplifies that. I got the double thumbs up. I'm standing behind, an M2 50 caliber machine gun that's locked, ready to rock. So luckily that day we didn't have to engage with anybody or anything like that. But yeah, man, I felt like even in the worst like kind of situation, I always kind of have a way to smile and kind of just work my way through it. And I felt like this photo kind of exemplified my service.
Yeah, but definitely. Yeah. It's not easy to kind of be in those situations, I would imagine, and somehow find a place where you can go to find that positive attitude. I would imagine it's not, not everybody is able to do that. It's definitely a leadership quality, for sure. But pretty cool stuff. I mean, you haven't changed much. You just have a little more facial hair. So
probably like 30 pounds also.
Well, we kind of crop the screen a little bit. Yeah. We don't have to worry about that. But no, thanks for sending that. That's a great shot. And thank you for your service. I'm going to try to thank everybody as we go through here. I'm trying to hit all the pictures and stories. If I happen to miss anything, just let me know on Twitter, and I will try to give you guys a nod over there as well. But it's great. I've got some... I'm going to try to stay as emotionless as possible, but even Heather on Twitter mentioned like some of this stuff really kind of hit home when you start reading through some of the stories and the pictures that go along with it. But here's our buddy Brian. He is logged in. Brian, he shared a quick kind of description of his service. He didn't have any photos or additional stories to share there, but this picture is actually from when we all got together out there at Climate Pledge Arena. Ty, you kind of toured them around. I met up with you guys later on in the evening, and it was a great night for Brian. But Brian, first Gulf War vet and Somalia campaign vet leading up to Black Hawk Down, Staff Sergeant Air Force, 52nd Combat Commander Squadron. Aside from Dad, U.S. War Veteran is my favorite title. The honor was mine. So great shot there from Brian. Brian, thanks for your service. Like I said, that was pretty much it in a nutshell as far as, some people wanted to share a lot. Some people just wanted to kind of, give a nod to others. And I don't know, maybe I'm a civilian, right? So it's hard for us to fully understand the veteran perspective. I don't know if that's something you could elaborate on at all, Ty, just the perspective and trying to understand that as a civilian.
Yeah, it's really hard to, and I've had this conversation quite a few times, to convey, especially like wartime veterans and things like that. Like you go out and you do these things and you see these things and it impacts your life and you carry it with you for the rest of your life. And sometimes, those things aren't things that we want to bring back up or we want to talk about or let alone expect, anybody in a civilian status to even remotely understand. So it can be a bit difficult. You'll find veterans, some of them will be all about just like, yeah, man, I did all this cool stuff. And then you'll find the other ones, you'll ask them maybe like, oh, what'd you do? And they're like, oh, I did this. And they're like, oh, what'd you do about that? And, I did this. Like, you kind of have to read, if you're engaging with a veteran, and read how their body language is, read how they're responding. If they're not giving you much, maybe it's a sensitive topic, and just kind of give them some space, thank them for their service, stuff like that. That goes a long way. I love hearing that stuff, even though I just kind of, I wanted to do something hard when I got out of high school, so be mindful of how receptive people are. And I think you'll be fine. From a civilian standpoint. But yeah, there's a lot behind that title, veteran, and people have experienced some absolutely crazy things, and you just kind of have to approach it softly. And if someone's willing to share with you, man, that's super powerful. So that means that's a trust level that they have with you.
Definitely. Yeah, and I just, just a small glimpse of that, even just through Twitter. And I work with a lot of veterans and such. So, yeah, I totally get that take, and I know it can be hard at times for them to share, but it's always appreciated if you want to thank a veteran for their service, whether you get that story from them or not. It doesn't really matter. That's not up to us as civilians to need that. We just, we should be thanking them for their service and everything they've been through. And it's great. A couple other logins here. We got Elite Shooter Nathan from Fancast. Got to hang out with those guys on their show for a little while a few weeks ago. Nathan, glad to have you in here. He says, I have a huge soft spot for veterans. Same here. It's definitely why I kind of wanted to put this stream together today and just kind of give everybody a nod out there that served for their country. Joshua also saying, Brian, my brother was with the 10th Mountain at that time. So, this is one of those things. As a civilian, I don't know what that means. So, Ty, I don't know if you can translate that for me, but
Just different divisions and things like that. So
yeah,
when you get into the Army or Marines or whatever, they have different groups. So they have battalions and then platoons and squads. And a lot of the time people will rattle off like I was ba 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 ba. And you're like, oh dude, I
right.
was part of that too. Or I saw you guys out there in the desert or something like that. It's just kind of like it's your it's who you are and who you like were a part of in the military.
Well, it's like we always talk about identities for teams, right? And the roles that players play on teams. And, you can as a civilian, maybe we can kind of relate, although teams are not fighting in battles, in wars and such. But, just kind of an analogy there, if you want to think of it as different role and different rank. We have captains, we have alternate captains, etc. On the Kraken. So, kind of an arc there as far as trying to think about it. And, just to maybe digest it a little bit differently as we go through the stream here. But yeah, thanks, Brian, for your service. Gonna go here to the next photo I've got. This is Remika. She sent, this one got sent in. I think this was right away when I posted. So thank you for sending this. Saying, I was just a baby, laugh out loud. Loved my time in the Navy up until things went terribly wrong. But 26 surgeries later, man, I'm proud of my service and happy to now be living the life I love with my little one, traveling full time. So, a lot of people paying the ultimate sacrifice, either with their life or through injuries. And in this situation, a lot of surgeries and, just impacts the rest of your life, right, Ty?
Absolutely. I look at this picture, and the first thing I notice as a Marine is that finger straighten off the trigger. Fantastic trigger discipline. The sleeves are looking pretty good. We roll them up in the summertime. But I think you got a comment from Striatic there that's actually pretty big also.
Oh yeah, right
the
here.
one about his daughter and himself.
My daughter and I were out yesterday, and she was asking if any person she saw wearing camouflage pattern on their hat or clothes was a veteran. Had to explain not everyone wearing camouflage is a vet. Yeah, that's a good point there, and then kind of following up. But it was neat. She was proactively interested. So yeah, and I think kind of going back to just understanding the perspective of what vets have gone through as a civilian, or even children. They don't fully understand war or even non-combat service and things like that. So it's good to kind of educate, help the kids understand what's going on and why it's important to give the nod to those that have served, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Elite Shooter saying, let's collab soon to do something for the vets. That would be great. I do know, I have a friend that is trying to take disabled vets to games. His name's Ryan, and I could kind of get you in touch with him as well. He's doing a lot of cool stuff. Last year, I think he said he had 60 or so disabled vets that got out to games, and he's working with a group. I think they have a Facebook group out there. So, yeah, maybe we can talk behind the scenes a little bit. I'll get you in touch with him. Maybe we can do something a little bit, more than just the live stream for the vets here. That would be great. Brian also saying, yes, Joshua, God bless the 10th Mountain. And Josh kind of expanding on that. The 10th Mountain was the unit that helped evac the Rangers that the movie Black Hawk Down was based on. So I should know that because I've seen the movie. It's been a while, obviously, since I've seen it, but yeah.
That's one of the few movies that's actually fairly close. Some of the other ones absolutely drive me nuts to watch.
Yeah, and again, kind of going between this civilian, non-civilian dynamic that we live in. Movies a lot of times, like you just mentioned, they don't express exactly what vets and those in the service are going through. So a lot of times we, as non-service members, we see that and we think, oh well, that's what it's like, but it's actually couldn't be further from the truth in a lot of ways. But yeah, just another thing to kind of think about as we go here. But yeah, thank you, Ramika, for your service. Appreciate the picture and the story, and all the
Let's
best
go,
to you.
Squid.
Yeah. All right, so next one here, and these are great. These are from Rocky. Rocky didn't have any stories he wanted to share, but these pictures pretty much tell the story. I mean, Rocky looking good, man. I love it. He's all dressed up, got the drink in the hand, just kind of chilling on the throne there. It's a nice one. Oh, we got another one here. So, yeah, it looks like he's out there in the field. Like these are great shots.
It looks like Afghanistan, if I was to take a guess.
Yeah, I'll go back to. Yeah, I would kind of guess somewhere similar at least.
The Army and Marines were in different parts of the country. So the Marines, we got the wonderful desert of Afghanistan, the Helmand province, and then the armies are kind of up out of the north and the east and stuff like that. So they were kind of all over the place. There's more of them than us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got the nice, sweaty, gross desert.
This is a great shot of Rocky too, with love the hat and everything. I mean, it's looking good. Oh, City Life Project, what's up? Love this. Happy Veterans Day and Remembrance Day for Canadians. Absolutely. City Life Project, my buddy Isha over there, he does a great job. I think Kyle Mudge is along for that. They do a lot of live streams for UFC and MMA fights, and we've corresponded quite a bit over the years. All the best to you guys over there. Thanks for joining the stream. Go give those guys a follow and a subscribe as well. Great stuff over there. So yeah, we'll keep rolling here. Rocky, I think there was a couple more. This one's pretty cool. We got the face, the camo paint on the face and everything there. It's again, these are just great shots. Thanks, Rocky, for sending them over, and thanks for your service. Like Lord Snorkel is in the chat here. Generation
Snorkel.
Kills. Yeah, what's up? Generation Kill was closest to my experience in Iraq. I wasn't as cool. I was Army. So we're going to get to Snorkel's story here in just a second. I think I've got a couple more. And then, yeah, it's a whole thread that I just wanted to share because it's a cool story. And, I have the day off today because of veterans. So I just wanted to do something. I know, a live stream is the best I could come up with when I just got home and people sent the pictures over. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so next one here. I think I had one more. Oh, no, that was Rocky's comment saying he didn't have any stories to share because they were none that were appropriate. So nothing but class from Rocky. Appreciate that.
I need to talk with him.
Yeah, that's the thing. Maybe we can't share them here on the stream, but go talk to a veteran, sit down. They love to tell stories, most of the time, sometimes not as much like you were saying earlier, but they always appreciate the thanks for serving comments, and it's just great. This one from Heather, and she said, I didn't serve, so no need to share this. Well, of course I'm going to share it, but I wanted to just add because it got me reminiscing. My grandfather fought in World War II, and he was always told the story of how he got his Purple Heart. He was coming around the corner and was bayoneted in the shoulder. So, even those who don't serve have family members that have, and stories to share. Pretty cool stuff there. All things considered, he was so lucky and really was fine, but he always told that story with such humor as it could have been much worse, right? Thanks for just letting me think on him and a service he's missed today. So thanks for sharing that, Heather. Cool story, Purple Heart. I don't know, did you, Ty, did you get any in-service awards or have any friends that went through that type of stuff?
I mean, we got the normal campaign medals and things like that. I have 2 stars on my Iraq campaign medal. Good conduct, humanitarian, just kind of normal stuff. Good conduct because I was a good boy and did what I was supposed to do. But yeah, I did not want a Purple Heart. So a Purple Heart is you've taken some kind of wound or casualty in country or in theater. So that was not one that I wanted. But massive respect to those. We have evac people and stuff. So Yeah, it's a medal that is definitely earned, that not a lot of us want, but some of us have.
For sure. Brian, just kind of echoing here to Heather's grandpa, we remember, also saying, thanks for doing this, all my Marines, Simplify, City Life. Yeah, thank you. Isha always gives me a shout out when I join his show. I go and watch Isha all the time, as much as I can, because he's very, very entertaining. I don't know, Ty, if you're familiar, but great stuff over there.
I'm
Always gives
not.
me shout outs. I will just turn it on and listen. Sometimes I don't even watch the fights. I'm just listening to the broadcast. So anyways, big shout out over there. Always love having those guys drop by and on the stream, and appreciate what they're doing over there. Lord Snorkel, good conduct is that I didn't get caught award.
That's good. Down low, bro. That's exactly what it is, actually.
All right, we'll keep it going here. This one is from Caitlin, and I love this one. This is great. Tomorrow, I'll be celebrating my mom and her 20 years of service to the U.S. Army. I'm so proud of her and her selfless service, dedication to the mission, and to protecting our country. I'm thankful for the experiences I've been able to have growing up in a military family. And, this is one I had no idea. I don't know Caitlin that well, obviously, but she's in, 32 crew, and we all hang out and everything. But, just knowing that a lot of families, the churn and burn and moving, being in a military family, it's not easy. I don't know if you went through any of that, Ty, or had friends that did, but I had a few friends, and they would list off the number of cities or towns that they had lived in growing up, and it's just, it's like, well, how do you? It's got to be hard to make friends, that when you're moving around that much. Yeah. Josh agreeing with Lord Snorkel here. Oh yeah. Brian saying, to Caitlin's mom, we salute and thank you. But yeah, this is a great shot. Thanks for the picture, Caitlin, and the story. Definitely, thanks to your mom for her service. And yeah, I'd love to hear more about kind of your experience growing up at some point, and if you did have to move around and things like that. But yeah, thanks again. Appreciate it. Next one here is from Brian Elroy Holseed. And this is a tough one, right? This one kind of struck me a little bit. His dad passed earlier this year. He was an electronic technician in the Air Force and worked on F-4s and B-52s during his active duty time. He retired working as a DoD civilian for the Navy, Army, and Air Force. Love you, Dad, and thank you for his service. And, and I'll kind of talk about it here towards the end of the stream, but my dad also not around anymore. It's been a while, but, you never stop missing him. And so this is tough. It's very fresh for Brian out there, so I appreciate you putting yourself out there. But yeah, nothing but respect, and thank you to you and your family and your dad for the service. Take another comment here. City Life saying, my grandfather served in the USA Navy. I have many friends, both Canadians and Americans, who served in Iraq and Afghanistan. My uncle also served in the UK in the 60s with the Iran Army pre-79. Wow. Yeah, just so many stories. I mean, it's.
Oh yeah.
I think that's what blew me away. I just kind of had, I was like, well, why don't I do a stream that's dedicated to veterans and see if people want to share some stories? And holy cow, I mean, I just my DMs were
grab like 5 of us, and we'll go sit around the campfire in your backyard, have a couple beers, and then you'll get some stories for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe next year we take it, another level. Maybe have a few additional people. Maybe even in person, and do it pre-recorded or something like that. But yeah, this is great. The response has been amazing, and I just, again, thank you everyone for your service to the country. And whether you or your family members or friends, it doesn't matter to me. I think it's great. City Life also saying, thanks everyone in the chat for you and your families who serve. What was that, Ty? Sorry.
The Snorkel's comment there about the spouses, like, absolutely. I have some interesting experience with this also.
Yeah, he's saying, I don't think enough respect is given to those who served adjacent. My spouse was with me the entire service of 7 years and cared for me after. Children, they served waiting for a knock or not. Yeah, I mean, it goes all the way through the whole family. I do know a lot of people that do go, on deployments and they're gone, 6, 7, 8, 9 months at a time, and it's tough. It's really tough. These families and people go through a lot.
Yeah,
so thanks again, Brian, for that picture.
I've deployed myself, and I didn't really think much of it because I was single, jarhead out there chasing Valhalla. We'll leave that alone. But when I was later in my career as a civilian, I had a direct report that her husband had just deployed with the Army. He was an intelligence guy, so I kind of kept her like in the know of like, hey, this is what he's doing, this is what he's experiencing, and just tried to help her. Oh, you put the 240 plus 7. Anyway, so I kind of helped her like understand the things she was hearing because I mean, you can't really contemplate or understand, oh, there was a rocket attack on the base. What does that mean? What does a mortar attack look like? What does, having an ambush or something like that? What happens and how do you handle that situation? So I would help her kind of understand that stuff. There was times like we would put together care packages and stuff and send it out there. And having been deployed, I knew like the key things to be in there. Like if you send someone overseas hot sauce, they're gonna be your best friend when they come back. Sometimes the food over there is not so great, so you just douse that sucker up with hot sauce, and it's like more valuable than gold out there.
Gives a little extra flavor, right?
Yeah, it makes it edible. But yeah, so I got to experience and kind of see and support her through that because I mean, not only was she a direct report of mine, but she's also a really great friend. So there was times where we sat in the office together, and I hugged her, she cried, and I cried with her, and it's just like, damn, like I never even contemplated what others stateside would be going on or experiencing. So definitely military spouses, man. They honestly they need their own day. I'm like, we have Veterans Day and stuff like that. It needs to be more well known. These military spouses, very, very special, very, very, tenacious people. Right. All my respect, 100%.
I love that idea of just, another day to kind of celebrate the spouse and the family back home that, is there along for the ride just in a whole different way and trying to support. So yeah, that's a good idea. Maybe we could call it, I don't know. We'll come up with a name for that. I'm not real great at doing things on the spot, but
I think there is a day. It's just not. It doesn't have a lot of traction right now. But
okay.
We should definitely that one should have some more traction for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go do a little research now. Figure this out.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what it's called, but I remember something.
Sergeant Pickles here added the happy birthday to all my devil dogs out there.
So if you didn't know, yesterday was the 247th birthday of the United States Marine Corps. So the Marines, obviously, my fellow service members in the chat and stuff like that, kind of there's jokes between each branches, like the Navy, the squids and the chair force and stuff like that. But for some reason, the Marines, we have this reputation for eating crayons or crayons, however you want to pronounce it. So one of my Army buddies actually sent me this yesterday, and I saw Snorkel say happy birthday, devil dogs out there. Houndin is a nickname that we earned fighting the Germans, where, like the devil dog. So I saw the 240 plus the 7 crayons, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is too funny. But it's just kind of like, it's that relationship we have post-service where we can just kind of poke each other and have fun and just, this is what makes it so much fun. But yeah, Semper Fi, Sergeant Pickles, let's go, Rob, bro.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thanks for replying to him on that, because it made it just that much better.
I have so much more that we can't put on the stream.
That'll be the outtakes. You have to maybe we'll do a Patreon or something for that. But yeah. Okay, next one here, Lord Snorkel. All right, let's get into this one. And I have to go up from the So keep me honest here if I get lost on my screenshots. But we're gonna roll through this. So here's Lord Snorkel's story. I come from a long line of carpenters. That's his family name. Who happened to serve in the military. My grandfather served in the Pacific Theater in World War II. Father served in the Coast Guard for many a decade, and I knew that I was going to serve. And just to open those pictures up a little bit closer, he's kind of got the tribute on the wall there with the banner. It's great stuff. This one, a little closer look there. I think there was 3 pictures in that first tweet. I just kind of wanted to put those up on the screen, full.
Man.
Yeah.
So you see all the stripes on that forearm there?
Yeah.
Each one of those is 4 years.
Wow.
So do the math.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, just, something as simple as that for someone that doesn't know what that means, it really hits home just with that simple description that you provided, Ty. So it's, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so you have like the rank here, typically under is just, I don't know the Navy. I know the Navy pretty decent, but like the Air Force and stuff like that, I don't know it very well. It's been too long. But yeah, the service stripes are 4 years, all the different ribbons and things. Each individual ribbon is for something else. They can also represent medals, so like campaign medals and things like that. And then he has some devices up top. I can't really see what it is because the picture is kind of blurry on my end.
Yeah.
But those will you typically signify something special, like your snorkel quad or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
You can scuba Steve and your jump wings and stuff like that. So yeah, Coast Guard. I don't know the Coast Guard very well. Pickles or Snorkel just pointed it out in the chat there. So
yeah, he's Coast Guard.
But yeah,
and Brian also saying salute to your family service, Lord Snorkel.
Absolutely.
There. So I'll keep going through the story here. Just kind of wanted to stop on those pictures real fast because they're great. So kind of getting back into the thread here. I joined junior JROTC. I'm assuming that's junior ROTC in high school. I walked into a recruiter station wearing a Coast Guard t-shirt and walked out with a Marine Corps delayed entry program contract. Yo. I was going to be a crayon eater. I knew that my JROTC would help my enlistment. So, I mean, there you go. You guys could have been fellow Marines, but they went a little different. So let's keep going here. Here's what happened. Christmas break of his senior year, diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphomas, stage 2, BX, that's cancers. And obviously this meant chemo and radiation, and the Marine Corps said, sorry, have a nice day. So Lord Snorkel went through rounds of chemo, then daily radiation, survived, and graduated high school. Non-Hodgkin's is no joke. So,
yeah,
lucky guy. I then went into remission for many years and decided I wanted to see if I couldn't pick up my fight to serve. It took 6 years, 14 attempts at MEPs, 2 senator's letters, and a doctor's note to get me into the U.S. Army. I did not like no for an answer. So just the dedication and desire to continue that service in the family. Reading through this kind of blew me away. I'll keep going here. MEPs is the medical entry process. Over 6 years, I went 14 times to try and get in. I bugged my recruiter more than I care to admit, but early in 2007, I was accepted and given a contract. I went to Fort Benning, Georgia for basic, and then Fort Gordon, Georgia for AIT. And maybe that's one of those things where you finally get to basic training or boot camp. You hear a lot of stories. It's just this huge kind of a reality check for a lot of people. I bet Lord Snorkel was ready to go, though. I bet it didn't even faze him.
It'd be interesting going in that late also. You're like in your mid-20s, kind of more of a mature adult, and you have these little kids that are yelling at you and in charge of you. Right. I mean, kids being 19, 20, stuff like that. So, definitely an interesting experience. Snorkel, we need to chat sometime, bro.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let's go fishing, actually. Let's do that.
I'd like to have him on. I wasn't able to get it organized for today just because the timing and I was flying and everything. But, yeah, one of these days, going to have him on the stream. We can talk more about this. So then moving forward here, he was then stationed at Fort Lewis with the 1 through 14 Cav. We spent the next few months training here locally in Ayakistan, Yakima. I hate OP1. We were then shipped out to Iraq in 2009. I was stationed on FOB Cobra in the Diyala province, right on the border of Kurdistan.
So these little acronyms like FOB, just say them. FOB.
Oh, Gotcha. Okay.
We're super basic with our stuff. We have acronyms up to kazoo, but we usually just say them.
Yeah. All right. I'll let it roll. Okay. Next 6 months. He spent the next 6 months on a 3/4 mile base where he was the head communications guy. Anything that plugged into a wall and communicated was Lord Snorkel's problem. Unfortunately for us, this was also a hot spot for bad guys with mortars. Yeah, we wound up taking over 300 rounds of mortars in those 6 months. There were multiple times where I didn't know if my foot would find a ground because I didn't know if there would be a ground there when my foot got there. I ran into every sea bunker on that base. Unfortunately, and this is where it gets sad, man, one of those mortars wound up finding PFC Aaron L. McLyman, and he provided the link there. If you want to go over onto Twitter and check that out and kind of pay tribute, pretty cool stuff. But it's sad, and this is the unfortunate reality of war and combat and conflict. People lose their lives and they pay the ultimate sacrifice.
This is another example of things that veterans carry with them the rest of their life. Like I have my own that I've lost, and it just, in my mind, probably at least once a day, it's just like, what would happen if, this or that?
Yeah.
There's some survivor's guilt for sure.
Yeah. The timing, just, and even as the story goes here, we'll get to, some other pretty remarkable luck and timing. But yeah, PFC Aaron L. McLyman, she was waiting in line for food at the chow hall. A round came in and got her just right. Our medical staff was right there. There was literally nothing they could do for her. So rest in peace.
Yeah. Mortars suck.
Yeah. Ryan saying you remembered Aaron. Yeah, and Snorkel saying, it's emotional. He's happy to tell the story. It's tough. I mean, it's tough.
Yeah.
Just me reading it. I mean,
yeah, I'm getting emotional too.
Yeah.
There's a 50 cal M2.
6 months in, I got the opportunity to switch to convoy security from communications. Convoy security was really just driving from one base to another base, but you're in a war zone. I wound up doing 20,000 miles with that team. We were called Rough Riders. I was RR1G gunner.
Yep. So I wonder if 1G means that he was in the lead truck. We'll have to talk about that, because if you're in the lead truck, you have a mine roller out front and you're sweeping for IEDs and all that fun stuff. It's a whole nother ball game.
So, and this is where, again, the timing, right? We got shot out a bunch. We only took one EFP, or otherwise known as an explosively formed projectile. This was not my truck. This was the last truck. I was lead truck that night. So I drove over this, and they decided not to blow it up on me. Instead, they hit the last truck. And again, it's just, what can you say? Ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah, I mean, enemies were constantly changing up their tactics while we were in the theater. Remote controlled IEDs, all kinds of fun stuff like that. Like you said, mortar attacks. Like, it was an ever evolving kind of environment that you had to adapt to and overcome. But yeah, it's just, you count your blessings when you get back to the base, and then you can't really get fully relaxed, because at any moment that siren can go off, or you start hearing mortars hit or maybe zing over your head. If you hear them, you're usually pretty good, because that means they're going way over you. But if you don't hear them, usually means they're coming down right on top of you. So
and it's not something that you just forget, right? Like, this is you said earlier, they, service members, they live with this for the rest of their lives. And you, Ty, I'm sure you go through things, and anxiety, PTSD, et cetera, all of these things are very real things that impact service members for the duration of their lives. So it's definitely a sacrifice.
A little bit of my own personal, yeah, exactly. Joshua says, F that siren, bro. That thing is always going off. And it's like, sometimes you just, like, you're laying there and you just got back from, like, maybe being out for 3 days or something like that. And you're like, you know what? If it's my time, it's my time. Like, you just kind of, you accept it, right?
Yeah.
But what you're kind of talking about, carrying stuff, like something so simple, like, I drive up to Seattle to watch hockey games, right? But I notice every single little piece of trash and everything that's along the side of the road, because my mind is still focused on, like, hey, if there's a wire there, why is there a wire there? Is that going to blow me up? Why is there so many boxes and stuff over there? What is that guy doing? I still have this habit where, like, if we're standing out at CPA, you can ask me and I'll tell you where someone is and all the windows around us. Just
Mm-hmm.
that situational
Situational
awareness.
aware. Right.
And
Yep.
I don't even realize that I'm doing it. It just, it's so ingrained in that kind
It's
of
all the,
like military mind and that survival instinct that I see them and I know and I pay attention and I don't know. It's just, it kind of sticks with you. I haven't really had any, I had one really bad flashback actually, where I was driving down the freeway and like the big 18 wheelers driving by and stuff like that. One of them blew a tire right by me and it just peppered my car with stuff. And I just kind of snapped into that military mind. I pulled over, I inspected my vehicle. I then got down to my underwear on the side of the road, just checking myself to see if I was wounded by, what in my mind was, an improvised explosive device that just hit my vehicle.
right.
So luckily, I was pretty close to another base, so there was some guys around me to kind of pull me in and say, "Hey, dude, you're at home" and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But super super real, and we deal with it
Yeah.
all the time.
Sticks with you, and like you said, your training just instantly kicks in a lot of cases. Snorkel kind of responded saying, regards to the siren, we didn't have one. We just ran on the distant boom. So, kind of just don't even need the siren in that case. We'll keep going through Snorkel's story. Again, thanks everyone for your service. If you're just joining the stream or if you need to log out here soon, I'm going to keep going. I want to get through all these because that's what I promised to everyone that sent stuff in. So hit like on the stream, come back, watch the rest of it. If you've got a dip, some people were watching on their lunch hour. But yeah, hats off to all the veterans today. Lord Snorkel here, we're kind of sharing his story, saying in that case, he was lucky, only minor scrapes and bruises from that convoy that, they took a hit there. Luckily, he was in that lead truck. He said, while we were traveling, I wound up going through Kurdistan and meeting Kurdish people. They were some of the most warm, welcoming, loving humans I ever met. We played soccer with kids. We taught a general how to throw a football. Right? By the summer of 2010, we are getting that ready to skedaddle out of town. While downrange in Iraq, they offered me a contract in Hawaii. Of course, I couldn't turn down a paradise from hell. So, wound up moving to a 2-star general's command where I was the SharePoint administrator. So a little bit of tech experience there for Snorkel. That's cool. Or he was the admin for the entire Pacific Theater at one point in time. Met his best of friends there, and that's where I decided to hang it all up after 7 years of service. In this next shot, I love. He's got the feet up on the table. Yeah, he said, yep, that's his command briefing table. Yes, I am playing Tiger Woods golf at 3 a.m. on an exercise in an unclassed room. How do you think I survived all those exercises? So that's his story. He's sticking to it. An absolute honor and privilege to serve with some of the greatest dumbasses who have ever raised their right hand. My advice, if you do want to serve, do something on the inside that you can translate and do on the outside.
Yes.
Right. One other piece of advice to those serving, life's got a lot of chapters to it. You're going to open some and you're going to close some. Some are going to be more painful to write than others, but sooner or later with time and some healing, it'll be easier to read. SPC Carpenter. So thank you so much, Keith, Lord Snorkel, for sharing your story. Just incredible stuff, and just left me speechless, and still speechless. The first time I read through it, got some response there. You Kraken Brew chime saying you're a braver man than I, and not just Lord Snorkel, all of you, Ty, all of these people, Ramika, Caitlin Sma, on and on and on, Brian, right? Joshua and in that family, just and that's just our little ecosystem here in community. But and this this comment too, I knew I was going to be okay, and the only reason he went was because the guys and gals left and right on his side. So it's just the dedication to that brotherhood and that sisterhood, and it's amazing, really.
And it lasts forever.
Yeah, it's not something that goes away. Okay, a couple more here. This one is from the 32 crew captain, Mr. Brandon Seeley, and he shared this. Shout out to my fellow vets, and thanks, Brandon, for sharing. Thanks for your service, and thanks for all you do for the Kraken, the 32 crew. Great friend, love to do podcast stuff with you, and that's all great. But this is awesome as well. 6 years in the Air Force. Yes, the Chair Force. I love that. As a TACP, though, I was embedded with ground forces to perform all air-to-ground integration, surface-to-surface fire integration, artillery, rotary wing, and fixed-wing air combat support, naval gunfire, medical evacuations, and electronic warfare such as jamming and intelligence. All that plus coupled with the high intensity of special operation missions after almost 2 years of training. Right, so that's kind of going back to what you were saying, Ty, that just the amount of training and being able to react and know what to do in certain contexts and certain situations, and the preparation, just having it be second nature. So he listed off Special Warfare Preparatory Course, TACP Preparatory Course, TACP Apprentice Course, Airborne School, and then he went to SERE Training, Special Tactics Training, Military Free Fall Parachutist Course, JTAC, Combat Diver Qualification, and more. So that's just a few of the quals, and he's been to every continent, including Antarctica, to carry out various missions. Collectively spent 17 months outside the wire. Can you tell us about outside the wire, Ty?
Outside the wire just means that you're going off the base. So you're no longer on like US controlled base or FOB or OP. Yeah, outside the wire means you're going out into the combat zone and you're ready to rock.
Brandon continuing on here saying, I don't talk about it much, but I've seen some stuff. The smells, the dreams, they don't go away. I joke that I don't sleep, but you wonder why. Things no course can prepare you for. With that, if y'all ever want to chop it up, let me know. I'm thankful for my time in. I'm still integrated with the same unit, but now as a DoD civilian. Look at me as their equipment manager, ensuring they have what they need to perform. It wasn't all bad. I had some great times making friends for life. I was always with the Army and Marines. Unfortunately, when you lose a handful of them, it can blur the reflection of your time, but I press on. It's nice seeing the stories of folks, parents, and relatives who served as well. Military life isn't easy, no matter the career field. Enjoy this day. You guys deserve it. Death on call is the motto, with a couple of pictures there at the end. And, just going back to, like you said, Ty, this stuff with the people you're serving with becomes family, friends for life, right? Just continues on. You carry it forward.
Every little detail. Brian, even in the chat here, is saying smells do not go away, like Brandon alluded to. Yeah, I still remember what Iraq smells like and all that stuff.
Yeah. Snorkel saying, mad respect, Brandon. Snorkel saying, I only say guys because it was in a cavalry unit that's all male. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Brian, great stuff. A couple more comments up there. I'll pop those up in just a second. I just want to look at these pictures a little closer that Brandon sent over. Yeah, it's a great story. It's, again, tough sometimes to take it all in, and also tough to fully understand it, not going through it. But the fact that veterans want to share in some cases and, put that out there, I think it's great. It helps us all kind of understand what they went through, and I appreciate it. Thanks again, Brandon, for your service. Thanks again, everybody. Ty, of course. I don't know, any comments on what Brandon shared there? I know we talked about the smells and the sounds, but I don't know, just as far as some of that training, right? And we talked about this with you, and I'll list those up there again. Like, it's just 2 years of, right?
Well, the thing is too, like, some people think of training and they go into like work, like, oh, I sit and I do classes and blah. And some of it is doing classes, but on this list here, I have, like SEER training: survive, evade, resist, and escape. Basically, this is your, like, at least for the Marine Corps, they stick you out on this little island. You get to run away and hide, and then they capture you and interrogate you and doing all this fun stuff. But if you want to learn what SEER school is, definitely check it out. It's a hardcore school. But yeah, mad respect there. We'll have to exchange some stories because it's a very interesting experience for sure. But yeah, There's a whole bunch combat divers, stuff like that. Total specialized, and then being an Air Force guy and doing that scuba Steve work, like dude's just a well-rounded individual. I mean, we know him in person also. He's a super great guy. We need to all do something, get together, share stories. But yeah,
Yeah.
these little four-letter acronyms and stuff like that, they mean quite a bit to people that have the experience and know what these actually are. But
yeah. And Snorkel saying, kind of echoing
yeah.
that as well. Those schools ain't easy, and I can't even imagine. And I wasn't trying to kind of gloss through any of the acronyms.
No.
Just with nothing but respect all the way across. But like you said, and Brandon even kind of points it out down towards the bottom there. He doesn't talk about it much, and
Nope.
Brandon is a pretty quiet guy, anyways. But yeah, this is kind of the first time I've heard some of these stories from him, and we talk quite a bit. So it's not easy, right? Sometimes you don't want to talk about it, I would imagine. But yeah, thanks again, Brandon, for sharing, and nothing but respect. Thanks for your service and everything that you and your family have gone through and went through, and continue to deal with probably throughout the rest of your life. So again, thanks, veterans. It's been a great show. I just have a couple more here that I wanted to share. This one, very personal to me. This is my dad, and he was 18 years old there.
Yep.
So he had just graduated high school. Mom sent me this over. Let's see what that text said. But yeah, I think this was 1957. So he was 18. Yeah, right out of high school. He got out of the Army in 61. So he only served 4 years. But she said it was during the Cuban Missile Crisis when he got out, and just months before Vietnam started. So maybe, pretty fortunate that he got out before Vietnam. Who knows? That was a pretty brutal conflict and war there. So I'm maybe lucky to be here because he didn't, go to Vietnam. So yeah, just it's very cool stuff. Just wanted to give my nod to my dad. He's no longer around. He actually had cancer, died in 2011. He had Hodgkin's lymphoma. So I know that's different than what Lord Snorkel went through, but yeah, similarities. But rest in peace, Dad. He did not die in combat or anything like that. Passed away in 2011 from cancer, but he did serve. And so, thanks to him, thanks to all you guys, family members. Ty, do you have any other family members that served or close? Yeah, like cousins? Or?
My grandfather was in the Navy. He was a radar tech. He used to sit off the shores and send missiles into places.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, my grandpa was like, he's kind of like Brandon, just a super quiet guy that didn't really share any stories or anything like that. But after I got out and kind of was serving and stuff like that, I could get kind of some of his stories out of him and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, a lot of guys are just quiet. They only want to share, certain little details and stuff like that. It is very challenging and difficult to be vulnerable at times, especially on such a public platform. Like I was sharing one of my own personal experience and then like almost in tears. And
yeah,
here I'm supposed to be, a Marine and all this stuff and carry those warrior ethos and all that fun stuff. But I mean, it's real, very, very real. And yeah, having family that's served and stuff like that, I'm sure you probably maybe experienced some of that upbringing, little army style, maybe.
Yeah, a little bit. Yep, definitely always on schedule. There's a lot of little things. The last one here is just, from another Twitter friend out there, Yanni for Captaincy and respect. And I just want to echo that. Like, that's what this is all about today. Yes, the Kraken are playing tonight. We'll talk about it here in just a second. I do have kind of the matchup preview. I want to make sure I got to all the comments. But yeah, again, thanks, veterans. Thank you, Ty. Thank you, everybody who contributed to this stream, added your stories, your pictures, Lord Snorkel. Thanks for that detailed thread. That's a great story. I know it's tough in parts, but I think it's important to share this stuff and go through the emotions. Like, Ty, you mentioned, like a Marine's supposed to be tough and all this, and that's very true. But, I think a tough person, a tough, well-rounded, emotional person is not a bad thing. I think that's a good thing to be able to display those qualities. But yeah, good stuff. Thank you, everyone, and thank you for your service to all veterans out there. I'm just going to pop up a couple more comments that I might have missed on the way. To Brian and his family, you were blessed to have such a man in your life. And that was Brian Holtseed earlier, shared that. Story Addict saying, I have a friend who was in the Navy and developed permanent respiratory damage due to an improperly treated illness while aboard a ship.
Mm-hmm.
Tough ongoing situation for him. So yeah, again, right, Ty, this is the stuff that sticks with service members even when they're done and out of the service. It's remarkable what people go through.
Yeah. I mean, just the average kind of guesstimate is every year you're in the military puts 7 years of wear on your body, and that's just like joints and stuff like that. So you definitely carry it around forever. That's for sure.
This one earlier, Brian was saying, Lord Snorkel is the equivalent of a great hockey player that you quadruple shift and watch him deliver across 200 foot of ice. Oh, and Lord Snorkel saying he got diagnosed the same month I believe Mario Lemieux got diagnosed. That's crazy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he had non-Hodgkin's as well, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I think non-Hodgkin's is more aggressive than Hodgkin's, if I remember right, but neither of them are good. Yeah, and also that coming up, there's the Hockey Fights Cancer, I think, here in the near future. Mm-hmm. But anyhow, thanks again, all the vets and Ty, for sharing your stories here. Let's talk a little bit about tonight here as we go into
I got one more comment.
Yeah,
from
definitely.
Snorkel here.
Okay.
It says sharing our healing might help others. Yeah, that's absolutely true. Unfortunately, a big part of our community has, how do I put it? They've taken their own lives and got away from some of the pains and things like that in less than ideal methods. But it's a big thing, man. And people are constantly going through stuff. I have a really good buddy, actually, the guy that got me back into being on the ice. He's had some stuff he's gone through, and I've been kind of trying to help him and keep that positive mental attitude and stuff like that. But man, don't be scared to reach out to another veteran or something like that. Or, I mean, I don't want to say the VA is this shining example of a wonderful organization or anything. They got some work to do, but and get started, get talking to somebody. Like, don't be scared to reach out. It's way too many. I think we're just 22 a day is what I'm hearing. So
yeah, I've seen
reach
that.
Out. Find me on Twitter if you want to chat. I'll sit and talk to you on the phone all night long if we need to. Like, just seriously, just reach out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, 32 crew, obviously a big resource. The Kraken community at large, a lot of positive people out there, helpful people, people that are connected with lots of different resources. So yeah, if that is something that somebody is interested in or needs, or yeah, I didn't mean to miss that comment. I was just scrolling down here.
Oh no,
but yeah, saying sharing our healing might help others. So that's definitely a huge part of this. But yeah, just reach out. Even to me, I can send you in the right direction, or I can talk to you. I don't know anything about going through the military, but always willing to talk and maybe help you, get you in touch with the right type of resource if that's needed. But yeah, Brian's saying 22 a day. That's sad. Yep. I mean, it's awful, but it's reality, and it's yeah. So to all those that that have tuned in today, all those that have family members, maybe those that have veterans that have passed away in combat or after, thanks again, everybody. I really appreciate it. Ty, of course, thank you very much for your service and being here today. Let's talk a little bit about the Kraken here tonight.
All right.
I know it's hard after such a heavy topic, but let's celebrate it a little bit too. Like, it doesn't have to all be sad. We can celebrate it a little bit. I always try to view stuff like this, like you were saying, that positive mental attitude. I know it can be tough at times, and maybe tonight the Kraken can help us celebrate a little bit more with their 6th win in a row. Let's look at the matchup here real quick. Is it weird to even say that, right? 6 wins in a row?
Yeah. I mean, it was a big deal just hitting 3. We're like, ooh, and then it's 4, and now 5. And it's like,
they're playing really good.
They're greedy.
6-3-1 in their last 10, right? Sorry, no, 7-2-1. I read the wrong side there. 5-game win streak coming in. 8-4-2 overall. The power play's been pretty good. There's what are they at right now? 8th in the league, power play wise. It's like, yeah. Penalty kill. Thoughts there? That's starting to improve a little bit.
It's getting better. I think the defense as a whole is getting better. I was noticing a lot of details last game and the game before, kind of where they're plugging up the slot, very active sticks. Your forwards are back checking. Your defenders are kind of protecting the net like they're supposed to be. But yeah,
And,
definitely have places to grow. PK is getting better, but I mean, we can always grow, get better.
and face-off's an area that we talked together about a lot. It had improved in
Yeah.
spots, but they're still dead last in the league right now. I think eventually the work they're putting in will pay off. And being on the road is not always easy for face-offs because you gotta put your stick in the dot first, right? So maybe a few more home games will help that percentage off or help that percentage out to get off of the bottom of the league there. But I don't know. Now that you're back playing, any tips and tricks for those trying to win face-offs?
Don't get old. If you want to stay good at hockey, keep playing and don't stop for a decade and a half. Yeah, I don't have any pro tips for face-offs. Different techniques. Sometimes slide your skate over and get in the way, or use your body, push them out of the way, have your buddy skate in. Yeah, there's so many different methods. I used to try to hit the puck before it hit the ice, and sometimes I get in trouble for that, but a lot of the times I got away with it.
Striatic saying, let's hope the Kraken can render Kirill the Thrill Kaprizov invisible again. Great point. He actually just got fined. I thought he was going to get suspended because he whacked Drew Doughty in the face the other night, but just a 5,000. Yeah. So he'll be going tonight.
It looked more like kind of maybe he had more glove than stick. But yeah, these things suck getting hit in the face with.
Yeah, that's never fun. When I played for a couple of years in the beer leagues, but I always wore a full mask, so you would get hit in the face quite regularly, and even that hurt, even with the mask on. But there you go. So you got the visor.
Goes right underneath.
We're gonna need some videos, Ty. I wanna chart your shift time. I want to make sure they're developing you properly and not needing to send you down to the OHL or anything like that.
I got a long ways to go. It's off the bench. Maybe if I'm doing like second period long shifts, it's not gonna be very long.
20 seconds on and then get off the ice. Okay, so
totally gassed.
A couple other things here. The roster, right? It sounds like Cale Fleury's going to draw in tonight. I know they were shuffling. They were going to send Joey down, right? So he didn't get exposed to waivers. That's kind of an interesting nuance in how the maneuvers work.
We had the perfect storm there too, because Hellberg became available and he's back.
Right, so he's going to fill in as backup tonight, if I read that properly. And there was potentially another move coming, I think. I thought I saw Brandon tweet that maybe like Riker Evans.
Olofsson.
I
think Olofsson came up. Yeah.
Okay, that's official now.
I think so. And then we talked about Fleury. He's a righty, so you'll have a right-handed player over on the left.
Interesting. A little different look, right?
More offensive potential, but getting stuff off the boards can kind of suck over there.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember playing my off wing a couple of times and it just feeling really awkward, even at that really, really, really low level of hockey.
Yeah,
you could tell the difference.
Power play, it can be as a forward on the power play, it can be really good because if you're right-handed and you're just sitting on that dot, you're kind of chilling over in Ovi's office. Like it works out pretty well. But defensively,
right?
No thanks.
Looking at just a little closer at the matchup here, I feel like the Kraken are 24th in the league with shots on goal. It does feel like they've done better with that this year, relative to the competition each game. I feel like last year it was more of an issue that they just weren't generating enough opportunities, and that doesn't always come through on the actual, shots on goal statistic. I would
just
say,
look one up.
Right, yeah, like goals per game, 3.57, right? So kind of something interesting to keep an eye on there for newer fans too. Like, yeah, shots are great, but you want the high quality, high danger chances, right?
Yep.
And then looking at the goaltending matchup, we're expecting Jones. Obviously, it looks like they're projecting Marc-Andre Fleury in here. He's got a 5.3-1 record, 8.96 save percentage. So not the greatest to start the season. 3.17 goals against. Minnesota I feel like they're trying to figure things out a little bit.
they struggle defensively. Like they got Marc-Andre Fleur, future Hall of Famer, no doubt about it, back
Hmm.
there, and they kind of just leave him out to dry. And I hate seeing it. Like a lot of people like Flower. I'm one of them.
Yeah.
So it's cool to score on him, but man, like they just leave him out to dry. It's kind of sad.
Well, we're hoping that the 2016 Martin Jones continues to arrive for the Kraken because he's been fantastic. Definitely more calm demeanor in net, it feels like overall. It's been fun to watch him have a little bit of a resurgence here and hold things down while Gru's been out. Pretty impressive
Yeah,
stuff, right?
I remember 2016.
I remember 2017 and 2018 and 2019.
So do I.
And
I didn't want to go there yet. We're not
but
ready.
yeah, 2016 was fantastic. Striatic saying, I think the D is more elastic, less brittle than before. It works better for the Jones to do the things Ty mentioned, even if it means sacrificing some more medium danger compared to high danger. Yeah, it's a great point.
Yeah.
I just feel like they're moving out of their own zone better than they were last year as well. They're cleaner. They are still making the kind of what the F turnovers at times, but they've been pretty good. You know, the forwards are supporting the breakouts really well. I feel like the D has been a little bit better, sure-handed with the puck in their own end. They're moving it out. They've been great on the boards and the forecheck too. That's an area I've been kind of focusing on. But causing a lot of turnovers on the other end of the ice.
Yep. Yeah, we've seen a lot of good forecheck action. I mean, we have Yanni Gord's goal, Tanev's goals. Like those dudes know how to forecheck. They know how to get out there and cause trouble. I love it. And then kind of going back, Martin Jones. If you watch him, he's just composed. He's calm. He's doing his job. He's got his angles look fantastic. He rarely is kind of out of position or anything like that, or getting a weird angle to a shooter or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Super impressed. I don't know if it's the goaltending coach, because I remember he said,
Steve
"Oh,
Briere,
I
right?
see, I see something in Jones, you know," and they kind of put them together, and now we're seeing the performance that we're seeing. But that defense also is making sure that slot is nice and cleaned up.
Mm-hmm.
Super busy sticks in there, not getting any good like open net shots or anything like that. So I mean, it's a team effort all around. Everybody's doing what they need to be doing. We could probably clear the zone a little better sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
That seems to be something that gets stuck. And then we'll have, a couple like 2 or 3 minute shifts where people are just totally gassed trying to stay alive out there. Get those things cleaned up and we'll be looking really, really solid.
Yeah, definitely a good start. And a lot of the noise that was kind of out there early has been quieted just a bit. So it's good to see Kraken a great start to the year. Some good things going, even despite the injuries in the goal, the situation with Gru and Drieger, right? So totally different situation in net than we anticipated a year ago at this time, and some great improvement on offense. Definitely seeing that trajectory, that trend going up as far as how they're playing. Hopefully they can keep it going. Ty and I, we're going to get to take that in tonight at Climate Pledge Arena. They're going to have the colors out on the ice, I would imagine, the ceremony for the veterans. Again, that's what this stream was all about today. So thanks again, Ty, for being here. I'm going to kind of head towards the end. Any last little shout outs here? We're going to get to hang out tonight, but I want to give you a little opportunity, just maybe a little outro for you.
I mean, I don't have anything prepared, obviously. Throw me on the spot. As always, I just got to shout out to 32 crew, making me feel, part of the family when I come all the way up from Vancouver and stuff like that. Look forward to seeing you guys tonight. And if anybody, that's maybe not 32 crew sees me in the arena, man, don't be scared to say hi. Like, I'll sit and talk hockey with you, talk whatever you want. Say hi. Like, let's go. Let's go Kraken.
The whole community is very open and welcoming. So, if you see one of us, Ty, me, Brandon, Caitlin, anybody, just say hi. Come hang out. Come take that picture. First intermission, a 32 crew at the Living Wall. Pretty much every game, right? So, join the crew. Enjoy the game. Thanks again, Tom. I'm going to let you go here. If you want to log out, we'll chit chat afterwards. Thanks for your service and everything that you do to help out here on the channel. My official editor-in-chief and trivia writing master. We do have some news maybe coming here
I got some good
in the near future, so stay tuned for that. But thanks again, Ty. We'll talk to you tonight, okay?
All right, sounds good. Happy Veterans Day, everybody. Semper.
All right, thanks again, Ty. Thanks again, veterans, and everybody joining the stream today. It's been a lot of fun sharing your stories and, you know, just your overall experience, and just the feedback I got on Twitter was incredible. It was just, like I said on Twitter, it's been an honor and privilege to be able to present those stories and those pictures to those of you that tuned in today. Whether you're watching or listening, I am going to have the podcast out there here probably in the next, I don't know, few hours or so. So if you want to listen, you weren't able to watch the whole thing today, check it out over on your podcast app, Spotify, Apple, Google, whatever you listen on. And do me a huge favor over there if you want, hit the follow button and rate the show as well. Give me some feedback. I do like to try to make improvements, bring you guys the content you want to hear, and improve the channel as we go into the future with your Seattle Kraken. So I'll be out at the game tonight, you guys. If you want to say hi, please do. Thanks again to all the veterans and their families for your service. Those that aren't with us anymore, rest in peace. And thank you again to everybody being a part of the stream today. We'll talk to you again soon on another stream here. Until then, have a great day, you guys, and go Seattle Kraken.